A sweet little girl with beautiful dark eyes and dark hair that twirled around your fingers. We called her Lammy. I have many sweet memories of our daughter Stacie. She lived to be 14. Her laughter still rings in my ears. Life for our family was much different when she was alive. Sadly, her body was broken. I say different because it wasn't all bad. In her younger years, I just carried her around. Since she could not sit up, she usually was safe in her little foam chair or her corner chair, though I liked to lay her on the floor on a large blanket while she could roll around. Stacie did not get into things like a typical child might. Her brain was not able to reason properly, so she could not reach out or grab anything. I made a colorful little felt mobile for her when she was 3 and hung it above her bed. She loved it and tried to reach out for it, but couldn't manage to get her hand to the right place. She smiled and laughed at it. She would often look at her hands. We had high hopes, but in time we could see that little Stacie would not be able to sit up, talk, bring her hand to her mouth, give eye contact or walk. Stacie was physically and mentally challenged. My heart was broken, so broken. It was the death of many dreams for our precious daughter. What about her future? Many would ask this question, but we had no answers. Stacie had scattered brain damage, and no one knows exactly why, though we speculate. I felt good for my entire pregnancy, only a couple of weeks of nausea. So, as this was part of our life, Dan and I began to read all we could about cerebral palsy, a neurological developmental brain disorder, not a disease. Seizures and more seizures, sometimes 25 a day. Her medicine was not helping a lot. After a few years, we changed doctors and found better medicines. Any ups and downs. Our precious Stacie Danielle would endure so very much. Scoliosis set in and a lung disease. But as her mom of 22 years, I knew I had to cling to Christ. And something amazing happened. God began to refine me. And working in and through me and my husband Dan, he brought self-denial and compassion to my soul for the sake of a little girl who needed total care. At that point, Stacie became a missionary to our home, who comforteth us in all of our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. 2 Corinthians 1:4. That verse was very meaningful to Dan and I. Life took on new meaning. The fruit of the Spirit took over for me and my frailty. I was afraid at times and became emotional, but the Lord is faithful and was preparing me in a bittersweet way for future ministry. Our home was becoming more and more set apart for God. I was able to minister to others more effectively, and peace came to my soul. Deep trials can do that for anyone as we learn to submit to His will, denying self. I was a pastor's wife for 40 years. And now I'm about to become a missionary to Liberia, West Africa. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that God would use me in these ways when I was first saved at age 11. I can look back now and see God's amazing hand directing my life, using little Stacie Danielle as my personal missionary to direct my thoughts to God and away from personal gain, fitting in, and selfishness. God's preparations for me to be a foreign missionary began many years ago, though I had no idea. It is fascinating how God can take a situation that looks so bad and redeem it for His purposes. Be alert, for He is preparing you for some mission in life too. Amazing God. This little dove reminds me of Stacie's flight to heaven, March 27th, 1997. And we thank God for his peace too.